Okay, what we're about to dive into is a story that's, well, it's part survival epic and part horror film. We're going to follow a single life from its very beginning to its incredibly violent end, all to understand one of nature's most brutal and efficient systems.
So, I want you to really lean into this. For the next few minutes, just forget who you are. Instead, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. What if you were born a termite? What would your life actually be like?
All right, so your story starts right now. You're hatching into a world of total darkness and some seriously unforgiving rules. And this isn't some gentle beginning, not at all. This is a brutal welcome to the world. You pop out of an egg somewhere deep under the East African savanna. Your body is just soft, pale, and incredibly vulnerable. You are just one of thousands, pushing through these cramped, pitch-black tunnels, surrounded by the constant thrumming movement of the colony. The path ahead starts to get tighter, squeezing you, and then you see it. One of your siblings right in front of you is completely wedged in a narrow spot. Its little legs are flailing, it can't move, and what happens next is, honestly, it's horrifying. There's no rescue mission, no one tries to help. Other workers just show up and start pulling your sibling apart, piece by piece. They're just dismantling it to clear the path. The obstacle is simply removed. And you don't even stop. You just keep moving. There's no time to pause, no moment of grief. And that is the very first lesson you learn. The individual is completely expendable. All that matters is that the colony keeps moving forward. So, you've survived birth. Congratulations. But now you're entering the next phase of your life, which is basically a lifetime of endless, back-breaking labor, constant danger, and being totally disposable. Welcome to being a worker. Your whole existence now boils down to this relentless, unthinking cycle. You grip a tiny pellet of soil. You follow a chemical trail left by others. You dump the soil outside, and then you turn right around, back into the dark to do it all over again. Thousands and thousands of times. That's it. That's your entire purpose. And don't think for a second this work is safe. Oh no, death is literally everywhere. Tunnels can just collapse, burying you alive. Ants can punch through a tiny crack in the wall and start a war. A fungus could contaminate the food supply and poison everyone. And every single time you go to the surface, you're gambling with your life against predators. And one day, it happens. A giant claw just rips your world wide open. Blinding light floods in. Hundreds of your coworkers are just gone, killed instantly. But does the colony panic? Nope. The response is immediate, almost mechanical. Soldiers literally plug the hole with their own bodies, and the rest of you just start rebuilding. Your death? It means nothing. In just a few hours, the wall is fixed, and the colony moves on like you never even existed. But then, after 2 years of this brutal, grinding existence, something starts to change. You get one chance. One single, desperate, incredibly perilous chance at a different kind of life. The mating flight. Your whole body starts to transform. These little buds on your back swell up and grow into actual wings. Your eyes get bigger, more developed. You're not a sterile worker anymore. Now, you're what's called an alate, a reproductive. You're destined to leave the mound. Then the day comes. You pour out of the mound with thousands of others, launching into the sky for the first time. But this so-called freedom, it's a complete massacre. I mean, within the first minute, swifts are just diving through the swarm, picking you off. Then the dragonflies show up. The sky is just a chaotic death trap. And by the 10-minute mark, almost every single sibling that flew out with you is dead. But somehow, you make it. You survive. You land, totally exhausted, and the first thing you do is break off your own wings. They're useless now. You find a mate, and working together, you dig a tiny little chamber in the soil. And then, you do something that sounds crazy. You seal the entrance. You entomb yourselves in total darkness. This is your new beginning. So, you've done it. You won the genetic lottery. You are a queen. But this victory is not at all what you might think. This peak of success is actually a lifetime sentence of grotesque confinement. Your body just swells to this enormous, monstrous size, making you totally immobile. You're not really an individual anymore. You're more like a biological machine. Your one and only purpose now is to produce eggs, laying one every 3 seconds, non-stop, for years. And that's the price of success. That little chamber you dug? That's it. That's your permanent home. You will never, ever leave it. You'll never see the sun again. That tiny chamber is your entire world now. Years go by. Your colony is a huge success, growing to hundreds of thousands of individuals. You're the heart of this massive empire. But here's the thing about building something great. Others will always, inevitably, try to take it. Your empire is a fortress, this towering monument of earth and saliva. But what happens when the real threat doesn't come from some predator clawing from above, but from an enemy that's just like you, tunneling up from below? You feel these strange vibrations, and they're not from above, they're coming from deep inside the earth. It's a rival termite colony, a different genetic line, and they've found you. Their tunnels have just breached the walls of your fortress, and just like that, the war has begun. Your soldiers, they fight hard, but the invaders, they're just bigger, they're stronger. Your forces are completely overwhelmed. The defenses that your colonies spent years building just crumble in a matter of minutes. The sounds of battle get louder, closer, until the chaos is right outside the walls of your own royal chamber. And then they smash through the wall, they kill your mate, and then they get to you. You're immobile, you're helpless. All you can do is lie there as they tear your swollen body apart. Everything you built, your entire genetic line, it all ends right here in this single moment of unbelievable violence.
After all the slaughter, the mound is still there. The tunnels, the fungus gardens, the entire structure your colony painstakingly built, it all still stands. But it doesn't serve you anymore. Now, it serves a different queen. Your whole life, your struggle, your entire empire, it was all just building a home for someone else.